Welcome to Our Hometown, the show where we take a look at the people and places that make Brunswick County unique. Today we'll be visiting the Ingram Planetarium here at Ocean Isle Beach and the Ocean Isle Beach Museum. So stay with us as we explore more of our hometown. We're here at Ocean Isle Beach. We're at the Museum of Coastal Carolina. My guest is Terry Bryant. She's Executive Director, and I got to get this right, of the Ocean Isle Museum Foundation.
Correct.
Correct?
That is right.
Now, as such, you oversee two particular facilities. We're at one of those right now. Tell us about that.
We are at the Museum of Coastal Carolina, and the museum was founded by a gentleman by the name of Stuart Ingram. He was on the beach one day and fishing, and a little 7-year-old saw him catch some fish and ran over to see what he caught and had lots of questions. And in so doing, he realized there was a need for educating people about our coastal region. And that ties in with what our mission is, to teach about our coastal mission, to further the education of our patrons, our public, our school children in the area. And that's one of the reasons that I talked about the grant with the ATMC and trying to help our school kids.
And we'll talk about that a little more.
Okay.
But again, you have two facilities. We'll be visiting the planetarium a little later. We're here at the museum. Give us an overview of the museum.
Okay, the museum has numerous exhibits about our coastal reefs. We have a Changing Tides exhibit that talks about all the different areas of tides and how that affects each of the different aspects of the coast and the beaches. We have a Barrier Island gallery which teaches about our sea turtles. And our sea turtles are so important to Ocean Isle Beach and also Sunset Beach, because we have so many nests that are laid here each year. This year we have 30 already on Ocean Isle. And we also have a Native American exhibit. We have a bird diorama, a green swamp diorama, which teaches about our local green swamp area.
Tell us what a diorama is. I know, but I'd like our viewers to know.
It's a beautiful exhibit that makes you feel like you're actually in the exhibit itself.
And we're in that right now.
We're in one of those right now. This is one of the largest underwater dry aquariums on the eastern seaboard.
Now you have so much to see, but you also have programs. For adults, for children, for those of all ages. Am I right?
That's correct.
All right, tell us a little bit about those.
We try to have 3 programs a day in the summer. One at 11 for families and kids, at 3:30 for family and kids, and then at 6 o'clock also for family and kids. We also, on Tuesday nights in the summer at 6 o'clock, we have a family lecture program. We call it our Sandbar Lecture Series. And it's all about educating people on various topics, history to the coast, to environment, just a variety of things that we'd like to get out in the public.
I've been here a few times, but our viewers would be surprised to know what a buzz it is to be among the children and adults here at the museum.
Well, one thing...
And what a busy place it really is.
It is very busy, especially our 11 o'clock touch tank feedings, and we have those on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 o'clock. And that's in the summer times. And we have hundreds of kids that want to come in and help feed the animals. And it's one of our most popular exhibits is the live touch tank. We also have our new shipwrecks exhibit that just opened up, and we have the giant Caribbean spiny lobster in that, which really is a wow factor to families.
Yeah, I bet. You associate with the museum in Wilmington, am I correct?
We are reciprocity with the Children's Museum of Wilmington, and we accept their memberships, they accept ours, and so we have a great correlation there. Right.
Now, we mentioned the ATMC grant, so tell us more about that.
Well, I wanted to try to do something for our Brunswick County school kids, a special something that we could tie in and help them learn more about STEM opportunities, STEM meaning science, technology, engineering, and math.
Right, right.
So we wrote the grant in order to try to pull them in, teach them about these STEM careers, and hopefully down the road get them interested in these careers to get them out of poverty if they're in poverty, or just to lead them in a very safe and good future career area.
Let's have a little fun.
Okay.
Tell us about Pokemon Go, and as it relates to the museum here.
Okay, I actually heard on the news that Pokemon was the fad right now.
Right.
And so I was working with one of our interns and asked her to set us up a couple of Pokemon stops here at the museum, and it has been a fantastic family outing.
No kidding.
And every time you pull in our driveway right now, you'll see families out working the Pokemon tour.
Well, as soon as we're finished, I'll step outside and take a look.
All right.
That's great. Terry, we're going to talk with two of your staff as we move forward here this morning. We thank you for being with us, and we thank you for what you do. It's a great endeavor.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. I'm here with Maria Knapik. She's the education coordinator.
Correct.
Here at the museum. Thanks for being with us.
Well, my pleasure.
I've spoken with your executive director for a moment, but let's talk more about what's here at the museum. Give us a brief overview.
Well, what we have here at the museum are exhibits relating to the coast of North Carolina, South Carolina, and basically the eastern seaboard, because the fish and the animals know no boundaries, so they do migrate up and down the coast. We have galleries that feature animals from different areas of the ocean. For example, in our shark display, we have the 26 most common shark species that like to come up and down our coast. There's obviously more of them in the waters, but not on our coast. The same with the green swamp area. We have all the animals that can be found in our local backyard, but nothing that is really outside of our area.
Okay, I hadn't thought about that. The green swamp is very relevant.
Right, we basically go 30 miles inland, which covers the green swamp area, to 30 miles out to sea, which is our artificial reefs and our waters. So that's pretty much the narrow area that we cover, but there's such diversity that it's amazing.
So we're going to visit the touch tank in a few minutes, but for the moment, there's so many programs that you have that the time doesn't permit to talk about them, but mention a few.
Well, basically, we're open 6 days a week in the summertime, and we have programs 3 times a day during the week. So anyone who comes can take advantage of all those programs, from touch tank feeding, where we actually let the guests visit and feed the animals. They can participate in educational programs. They can participate in arts and crafts related programs. And there's something for everyone. So we have multi-age programs. So from children to adults, seniors and beyond, we can definitely have something that will entertain and educate everyone.
Let's talk about the kids for just a moment, because we're filming here in the middle of the summer. It's 90 plus degrees, and on an extremely hot day, or maybe even a rainy day, your numbers go up, don't they?
Yes, we love rain here at the museum, and we're all prepared. We are a nonprofit, and we have so many great volunteers that come in. It's all hands on deck, and we love to offer positive experiences even when we're really busy.
Maria, let's talk about programs and outreach.
What we love to do is host groups that come through, whether it's a public school, year-round school, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. This summer we've been busy with Parks and Recs that are taking advantage of our programs and bringing in their campers to not only experience our museum as well as participate in extra hands-on activities.
Yeah, and I'm jumping around on you, but I learned just a few moments ago that weddings occur here.
Yes, something that your viewers may not know is that we do offer a rental program here and at the planetarium. So a family reunion could rent out the museum to host a big gathering. We had a wedding last week, we're having a wedding this week. So we do offer that opportunity for community as well as visitors from all around the country to use our facility for their own personal use.
Sure. Tell us about your background, how you got here.
Well, my background is I grew up in New Jersey, and I was an educator at home with my children, as well as wanting to learn more about this area when I moved down here. And between my background, my schooling, it was just a perfect fit for a great part-time opportunity to just interact with vacationers as well as school groups coming through, and just have a lot of fun. This is a fun place to work.
Now, we've talked about kids, but this is a very adult-friendly place too. You have lectures that are substantive and informative.
Every Tuesday night we have a lecture series over the summer, so we can cover topics from shipwrecks to local artifacts that are found in the area. We also have fun things. For example, coming up in the fall, we have someone local who is going to talk about beer making 101.
Interesting. interesting.
Yeah, we have different people coming in to talk about shipwrecks, to talk about extreme weather, which is always of interest in this area. So there's a variety, and it's all on our website too, and so come in any Tuesday night.
Well, Maria, thank you for being with us. There's more to come here at the museum, but we really appreciate your being with us.
Well, I appreciate your time coming out.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We're here at the Touch Tank. It's really interesting, and our guests, our special guests, are Maddie Anderson and Tanner Richards. Both are interns here at the Coastal Museum of Carolina. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tell us about the Touch Tank.
Well, in our touch tank, we have multiple animals. We have sea stars, sea urchins, a horseshoe crab, some sea anemones, a banded coral shrimp, a spider crab, hermit crabs. We have lionfish in a tank, and we have 2 tanks, one with lobsters and filled with fish.
Okay, and Tanner is keeping an eye on our horseshoe crab, am I right?
Yes. Her name's Trigger.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Do all the others have names as well?
A few. We have a balloon fish in that tank named Sailor, and then the volunteers, they all have their own names for the animals, just to keep them close.
Before we came on the air, you told me that you are here every summer. You've kind of grown up here.
Yeah,
Is
I've
that
been
right?
coming since I was 3 or 4 to the museum, and I've been volunteering back in the touch tank since I was 10. My grandma's always been really involved in the museum.
And your sister preceded you here as an intern.
Yes,
am
she
I
worked
right?
here for 2 years, and then she's going to college in the fall, so she decided not to do it this year, and she passed the torch on to me, and hopefully I'll be here for a few summers.
And on many a day, this place is filled with kids all surrounding the tank, I'm sure.
Yes, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have a touch tank feeding at 11, and those are our busy days.
It's the feeding that
Yes.
grabs the attention.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for being with us. Thank you
Thank
both.
you.
We appreciate it. We're here at the Ingram Planetarium. My special guest is Will Snyder. He is the director of the planetarium. Will, thanks for being with
Well,
us.
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You and your staff have some great stories to tell. I said a
Absolutely.
moment ago, we don't have enough time, but we'll make it work as best we can.
Definitely we will.
Your background. Tell us about your background.
Well, I'm relatively new to the area here, just moved down in December to start working here, but I'm originally from Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh, where I was born and raised, where I went to school up there too, and just recently moved on down. My background is in astrophysics, so definitely works well with the planetarium here,
Right.
and had worked for a few years in some other different planetariums, and I'm glad to be down here now in Sunset Beach too.
Now, I've been to the planetarium before, but it's such a wonderful facility. Tell us a little bit about how old it is and a little bit about the facility.
Well, of course. I mean, to have a planetarium at all here in South Brunswick County is pretty amazing.
You said it.
Yeah, I mean, it was built back in 2002, so 14 years old now. We'll be celebrating 15 years next summer, which will be pretty exciting here for us. So it's gone through some changes. It had a big digital upgrade back around 2008, 2009, and we actually were one of only 3 planetariums in the world with the system that was installed here back when that happened, and we've gotten good use out of it now. We handle all sorts of school groups throughout the course of the year. Of course, the summertime now is our busiest time of year with tourists and different families coming in, where we've got all sorts of different programs for pretty much anyone's interest.
And I want to talk about programs, but very quickly, where does the funding come from?
Well, we're connected to the Museum of Coastal Carolina right over in Ocean Isle
Right.
Beach as well, sister facilities you could say. We're both owned by the Ocean Isle Museum Foundation here. And originally both places were started due to the support and backing of the Ingrams, Stuart Ingram, who is the namesake of the planetarium here.
And people at this end of the county will remember Mr. Ingram well,
Absolutely,
I'm sure.
yes. He and his wife very well.
Okay, we're here in the middle of the summer. And that's probably the height of your program.
Definitely.
And the interest in the planetarium.
Yeah, we're open 6 days a week right now, which is the most we're open Monday through Saturday at this point, and we have programs every hour on the hour, all day long, basically. And being a planetarium, typically, you think of astronomy. A lot of our programs certainly do focus on astronomy. Everything from live programs, talking about what will be in the sky later on tonight, to more specific topics, maybe about exoplanets or some other sort of topic, like astronauts here in the planetarium too. So we'll go through a lot of different things like that, but not everything here is astronomy related too. We do have other interests, like we do laser art and music shows in the evening as well, which have traditionally always been popular for us in the evenings, where you get to enjoy different music, like maybe classic rock, the Beatles or Pink Floyd, to even, we've got a tribute of Michael Jackson. This is really popular with us this summer too, so people get to sing along to those songs.
Okay, here in the summer, you're busy every hour, am I right?
Yep.
You have different programs.
Yep, different powers every hour. Well, typically during the summer we sort of keep the same schedule from week to week, though it changes a little bit more during the off season to get more of our locals in. But we start things off, we've got a nice half-price program at the start of the day to get people coming on in. If you've never been to a laser show before, it's a good sort of introduction to that. And then coming up right at noon, that's our new program for this summer called The Sky Tonight, where it's fully live. We take a look at what's in the sky later on tonight, so different constellations, your planets that are up there. And then throughout the rest of the afternoon, we do different presentations on different topics. We have a great one for children and young families at 1 o'clock, where we talk about the sun and the moon. And then one that's really popular with adults right now too is at 4 o'clock, where we talk about the 7 wonders of the ancient world and pick out 7 wonders of the nighttime sky to talk about too.
Just so our viewers will know, we're in a room that I would call, I'll call it an exhibit room for lack of a better term.
Yes.
But the actual planetarium is next door within this building.
Yeah.
And on a regular basis, you preside or speak,
Absolutely.
or lecture, if I may use that term.
Definitely.
During those 1-hour programs, right?
Yeah, and I think it's good you bring that up because a lot of times, I take for granted that people just automatically know what a planetarium is,
absolutely.
And a lot of times people haven't been to a planetarium, even especially in a small area, since it's unusual for us to have one like this. But the bread and butter of the planetarium would be our full dome immersive theater over there, where we've got a large roof over our heads, 3D spherical roof, where we project the stars up there. We project different movies and films on certain topics up on the roof as well. And during those programs, no matter what show you come and see, there's always a live star show at the end as well, where typically me, but also some of our wonderful volunteers here also talk a little bit about what's going on in astronomy and what's in the sky later on that night.
Programs for all ages.
Yep, for all ages, and people typically, it's a great place to bring kids and grandchildren, of course, but we do a lot of things here, especially that are really good for adults, and some of the things it's hard to get anyone excited about anything anymore, it seems, if it's not on their phone, but adults and kids both really seem to have a wonder in this astronomy.
Let's talk about kids, because before we went on the air, you told me that you have kids 5, 6, 7 years old that know a lot about astronomy.
Well, absolutely, sometimes maybe more than I do.
I'm amazed at that.
Well, it's amazing too, because I wasn't really that kid growing up that was fascinated in the stars and astronomy, but I think it's one of those things that, depending on the child, that you go through, that period of time where you just become obsessed about the stars, and they learn everything about astronauts. They can name the planets, different names of stars, and many different things. So it's always really nice. And one thing that's great for them too is where we are right now in our science hall with our exhibits. That's completely free to come at any time throughout the year. Whenever we're open, you can bring kids on into the science hall here, where we've got hands-on exhibits for them, and you don't even have to pay our admission fee. It's completely free to come on in and enjoy the science hall with them.
It's called the science hall, not the exhibit hall.
Yeah.
But you also spoke about telescope.
Absolutely.
Not classes, but...
Yeah, well, that's a new thing. We've always sort of done telescopes periodically, but this summer, on Wednesdays after the Sunset Beach concerts, we're now hosting a program called Star Watch, where we take our telescopes out at night, and right now, because it's the summertime...
People bring their own?
Yep, people are welcome to bring their own. If you don't have your own, or you don't want to lug yours down here, we take a variety of our own out. We can see all sorts of different things. Even just this past week, we had a great crowd here. We got to see Jupiter and some of its moons, the rings of Saturn, and we had a full moon that night too, which it was beautiful through our telescopes for kids and adults to look on through and see anything they could find up there.
That's terrific. Will you also have, I was about to call them movies, but we'll call them films.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the really cool things about our planetarium. It's an immersive theater too, so we feature 180-degree films up on our dome from a range of different topics, most of which, as a planetarium, you'd expect to deal with astronomy, maybe a specific special topic, or a general thing that we can talk about with the stars, or maybe the planets that are up there. But we also have other topics too. One thing that is popular right now is our 7 Wonders program, where we talk about the 7 wonders of the ancient world and of the nighttime sky too, but lots of other different topics too. And one really good example is our program that was going on last fall, and we'll be back here this fall as well, called Sea Monsters, where it's sort of National Geographic is actually who put it out. We talk a lot about ancient creatures that used to live in the sea and paleontology and finding different fossils with it. So basically any sort of educational thing can go on here at the planetarium, and typically they're done to be very entertaining, not just educational as well.
I always want to get this in, the website.
Oh yes, our website, museumplanetarium.org. That is the website for both the planetarium and the Museum of Coastal Carolina up in Ocean Isle. You can learn so much more about your programs on the website. Exactly, because they will be changing all the time. Coming forward to the fall, they'll be changing monthly, and we'll have new programs this fall as well. Coming up for the holiday season and Christmas, we're going to have a brand new holiday program this fall.
Between the two of us, I want our viewers to know that this is a wonderful, wonderful asset for this end of Brunswick County and for the entire area.
Well, it absolutely is. I mean, I'm new to the area, but it really is sort of a little hidden gem down here that, you know, even still a lot of people don't know about for, for an area like this to have. It's great.
We touched on kids programs, but let's talk some more about kids programs.
Yeah. Well, one of the best right now is at 1 o'clock. It's Accidental Astronaut. We take a look at the sun, the moon. If you have a young family or anything like that, it's perfect for them because there's a lot of humor in there that the adults will get, but maybe the kids won't quite as much. But lots of different information for them. They'll have a good time seeing all sorts of almost 3D animated visuals up above the dome with them as well. And looking forward to the coming spring, we're going to have a new family program as well that will be just as popular. I think.
And consistent with that, you have groups of kids that come in.
Absolutely. I mean, during the off season, it's probably the biggest thing we do here is we get field trips in almost every other day of the week, it seems, from all sorts of local schools, but even pretty far away. I mean, up on the other side of Wilmington, some of these school groups travel to, even we had a group 3 hours away to come visit us here at the planetarium.
Wilmington has no planetarium.
Well, no, it's for this area, definitely it's good to have a planetarium right here. Probably the next closest one would be up at UNC Chapel Hill up there too, the Moorhead Planetarium.
Good.
So if you want to see something like that here for any of these schools, this is definitely the closest and the best experience they can get here.
You're the manager of the planetarium here. You're a busy guy, but you can't do it all alone.
Oh,
you need volunteers.
Absolutely. I mean, we're a small facility here, but with only full paid staff people that we have here, we are always looking for volunteers, and we have a great group of volunteers with us right now that some of them have been here for years, longer than even the planetarium has been around, at the museum and here both, and we're always looking for more. If you're looking for something to do, especially maybe come the fall when you're not taking trips over the summer, you can always have a group come on in, say maybe you want to work with field trips or you want to learn how to do some presentations in the dome. That would always be a big help to me as well.
Gift shop too.
Oh, yep, and we always have volunteers in the gift shop too, which is a great thing if you guys are looking for maybe some gifts coming up for maybe Christmas or the holidays. Definitely anything space related, you can find it in our gift shop. Lots of things if you're looking for your children or your grandkids. It's a great place to come and shop and find some things for them too.
All right, I'm going to get a little abstract with us here.
Okay.
We talked just a few moments before we went on the air about the size of the universe.
Yeah.
And I said that I had read that there are more galaxies in the sky than there are grains of sand in the ocean. I mean, how can that be?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, really, even just over the past, even a lot of our lifetimes, we've learned so much more about space and the sky around us when we look up at night. And I think it's fascinating that kids through adults seem to still have a wonder about the nighttime sky. And in today's day and age when we've learned so many things, made so many discoveries, to have something like the vastness of space where we still have so much to learn, there's so much yet unknown, is really amazing about what can possibly be out there. And we're really learning by leaps and bounds every day about just how big space is and what all is out there too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm jumping around on you, but I read recently that there's a lot of junk in space as a result of our various space programs.
Oh, there absolutely are. The number changes. I've heard all sorts of different estimates about how many, it's millions of pieces of space junk that are up there orbiting the Earth. And, that sounds bad when you say that, but at the same time, too, space is so big that even if you have that many even circling the Earth, they're all spread out. We can still send rockets up there, different things like that. And one thing is they sort of fall out of space on their own. Not that they're going to crush anyone here on Earth, but they eventually will burn up in the Earth's atmosphere, sort of just the natural sort of trash disposal system, I guess, for outer space.
Well, from the vastness of space to Ocean Isle Beach, we thank you for being with us.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate it.
It's a great program and a great facility.
Well, thank you so much.
A dredge is used to dredge shoals in a channel. And so channels are used by commercial traffic, sport traffic, boats to be able to run in and out of inlets in this case, or up and down waterways or deep water ports going into ports. And so there's dynamics that causes shoaling along the waterways, especially on the coast and especially out in the ocean inlets. And so you have to remove that material in order for having safe navigation. It's like a big vacuum cleaner. We place what's called our drag heads on the bottom, and we trail them alongside the dredge, pumping the material up into the dredge and then out the pipe, as it's called a sidecaster. In 2005, that was probably the last year that we received federal funding for our shallow draft inlets in the president's budget. And we used to receive approximately $1 million per year, and we were able to perform 4 dredge cycles per year, so basically quarterly. And so we were working with Mother Nature, and that's basically what a sidecast does, is we work with which way the currents are flowing in order to continue transporting the sand into littoral drift. And so after that period, there were what was called earmarks. And so, you know, there was certain congressional funding that would occur after the president's budget was published, and a lot of times the shallow draft inlets would be picked up during that. Earmarks were cut out around 2012. And so that pretty much stopped funding for the shallow draft inlets on the federal budget. And so the Corps and the state of North Carolina came together, talked about how can we dredge these, because from a local economy, it's very important. From a national economy, maybe not so much. So how do we make that happen? So we developed a memorandum of agreement between the state and the Army. And this is where they're able to provide funding for dredging our federal channels and keeping the channels open for their local economy. Well, typically at your restaurants, you're going to be eating seafood that came from a commercial fisherman. And that's one of the oldest traditions in coastal North Carolina. And their vessels are usually larger than your typical outboard sport fisher boats that go out. So they could be 60, 70 feet and drafting 4 and 5 feet of water. So they need a good channel to be able to navigate out. And they're the ones that go out in the ocean and catch that seafood and bring it back to market.
My name is Raymond Bleem. I'm the captain of Dredge Merit. On this dredge, 15 years. I came on here in 2001. I've been on here 15 years, but I actually worked with the Army Corps of Engineers for 46 years. Well, in 1983, they transferred the Fry down to Wilmington District. I came down with the dredge. I still maintain my home in Pennsylvania, Quakertown, Pennsylvania, which is about 50 miles north of Philadelphia. So I commute back and forth every week. We work a schedule 8 days on and then 6 days off. So
you commute from north of Philadelphia to Wilmington every week?
That's correct. That's what I do. Oh, I do, yeah. I mean, here 46 years, I wouldn't be here otherwise. I mean, we got, I just like being out here in the ocean and being out with Mother Nature. And this has been my life here, so in livelihood. And like I say, I just enjoy doing what I'm doing. It's a pleasure being out here. I mean, it's work, yes, I'm getting paid for what I do, but you know, you have to kind of enjoy what you're doing, or else, you know, it's a job that you're miserable, and that wouldn't be real, you know, much fun. So, I mean, I just enjoy this job, so I wouldn't be here that long if I didn't.
Thanks for joining us on Our Hometown. If you have a topic you'd like for us to explore, contact us at atmctv.com. And join us again soon for more of Our Hometown.